fear. What makes us afraid? From the genesis of darkness to modern-day global terrorism and disease, film is used as a reflection of those fears, behind the mask of flesh and meat hooks that reflect what's happening in our world.
Come play with us, Daddy.
And what's happening in our brains. We are more afraid than ever, and yet we are the safest and healthiest humans in history. A lot of our new fears are formed on an internal level. There's a science to our fear. Rudimentary elements since the beginning of man that can terrify us to our core. And we're going to go inside of them. Welcome to film school. We are born afraid. That's how powerful fear is. It's not exactly a good feeling, yet we seek out fear. Why do we enjoy being scared? It's the same reason sometimes you need a good cry, or being slapped hurts until you want another. It hurts so good. Fear is a process that occurs during fight or flight. It forms in the amygdala and stems from the release of adrenaline in the adrenal gland. Adrenaline is the same stuff that makes your heart race, gives you the ability to run fast and scream louder in times where your body feels in danger. Adrenaline is stimulation. Our nervous system seeks adrenaline stimulation. It's also responsible for sexual arousal. That's why men pick horror movies on first dates. Trust me, I'll scare you right into my oversized Van Halen shirt. But knowing exactly what makes people afraid is a powerful weapon. Terrorists, bullies, Fox News, and filmmakers alike want to know. But it shouldn't be a surprise that horror, as a genre, stems directly from religion. Oh, don't act so surprised. Back in the day, everybody who was anybody was running around raping and killing people. Or killing then raping people. Whatever order you can think of. Apparently, morals didn't crawl out of the ooze with us. A system of ramifications needed to be established. Boundaries, damn it. The concept of hell became the first prison sentence. A very long stretch. And the devil? Well, he was the first warden of fear. Stories were constructed that would scare you into being a good person. During the Spanish Inquisition, the 15th century, the church conducted a door-to-door data collection in regards to what people were universally afraid of. An odd census to conduct, right? Well, it was to devise a new way of torturing Spaniards. Honest to God. The church cracked the Zuckerberg code on conforming people. Later, artists would use these findings to establish Gothic horror in the literary medium, with Horace Walpole's The Castle of Otranto in 1764. It incorporated supernatural elements and would lead to fictitious creatures such as Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, Robert Louis Stevens' Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, Bram Stoker's Dracula, all the way to Wes Craven's Freddy Krueger and Victor Miller's Jason Voorhees. In the late 19th century, adapting fear to film was easy at first. I mean, back in the day, you could scare the crap out of people with a choo-choo train. The first horror film, The Devil's Castle, by George Méliès. It didn't evoke fear out of the viewer, but was considered the first horror film for including a transformation of a bat into the devil. People's rudimentary fears were transformed into horror film tropes and used in the genre throughout the next century. These tropes can be broken down into 3 tiers: the unfamiliar, lack of control, and lack of information. But first, the unfamiliar. In order to keep us safe and help secure the roots of our nascent xenophobia, we are taught in an early age to fear and avoid strangers, especially if they look different than what we consider normal. Our instinctual fears will always judge beings on our first impression, what they look like. You flip a coin with the unfamiliar. You either trust your instincts and avoid the man wearing another person's skin as a mask, or you persecute what turns out to be a harmless creature, realizing you are in fact the monster of bigotry that's turning into their father. That's the case with such unfamiliar characters as the Hunchback of Notre Dame and Frankenstein.
That's Frankenstein.
Phonetic schmetics. Having bolts in the side of your neck or a hump on your back draws some attention, sure, but doesn't necessarily make you a bad person. Then you run into a person who is not just an abnormal, well-intentioned weirdo, one that is indeed downright deadly. Take, for example, the paragon of that dude you avoid because he looks hella weird. The Hitchhiker is a van full of pretty young, perky people ambles along a Texas highway in the scorching heat. They debate picking up a hitchhiker. Oh, he's weird looking, no. And when they do stop to pick him up, another one comments, well, I think we just picked up Dracula. Let's just say things don't work out. He's officially one of the worst hitchhikers ever. An induction stemming from a long line of lunatic creeps. And their encounter with him portends to the fate that is soon to befall them all. More dangerous eccentrics that look strange and act even worse. So, what are we supposed to do? We should have listened to that vapid twit that is a chore to deal with in an overheated van, but you invited anyways because, dude, she's hot. Or go against our instincts, maybe give a monster a ride, thinking that you are above the stereotypes of physical appearance. Tell you what, if you come back to my basement, I'll be happy to tell you what I think on the matter. There's a million ways to lose control. A physical container is a terrible place to start, like a box. But you can always break out of the box, theoretically. Really, any resistant can be freed with a little grit, determination, and access to a hacksaw. But what if you were trapped in your own body? What then? And I don't mean in some whimsical, cutesy, Freaky Friday type of way. Though a boy can dream, the true fear of incapacity is based on the fact that you are now a sitting duck to whatever jealous, bloodthirsty Capuchin monkey you might have in your life. Yes, I said monkey. The Monkeu Shines, which could be its own sequel, is a perfect example of this. The lead character, Alan, is rendered quadriplegic after a freak accident. His nurses begin using an assistant monkey to help Alan with his daily tasks. But when she becomes possessive of Alan and starts to turn violent, her tiny size matters little to the man confined to a wheelchair. The crazy part? It's actually terrifying. As an audience member, we want to jump up and grab the monkey that's molesting his lap, but we can't, and so we're hopelessly forced to watch. In the end, we the viewer are just as helpless as Alan is, and that's what makes this so terrifying. Lack of information. Waiting for the scare is just as terrifying as the moment it finally happens, whether it's Wagner's third movement crescendo or that weaving NASCAR to finally flip. It's the anticipation that can kill you long before the crash. Waiting is the hardest part. For decades, horror films told you when you were supposed to be scared. Before Michael Myers appears, you hear, and Jason has his, and Freddy Krueger has that song, Are You Ready for Freddy? By the Fat Boys.
Stay ready, cause you know who's back. Freddy.
Which is terrifying for completely different reasons. Then there are rare films devoid of suspenseful string music, free from mnemonics.
What's the most you ever lost on a coin toss?
Antoine Chigurh represents pure evil in No Country for Old Men. He's a relentless hunting machine, and his killings go unpunctured by any standard score. In fact, the only real music that plays during the film pops up 120 minutes in during the end credits. In a time when every suspenseful film is peppered with loud noise and loud music, we have become trained to react accordingly, almost a Pavlovian response. So when those normal, expected beats are stripped away, we react the same way as when anything that becomes routine changes on us. It freaks us out. It makes us feel icky. And what No Country adds by taking away, a film like Gravity takes away everything we hold as familiar, the Earth. You know, with a psychopath, you at least have a chance, but there's no winning against the void of the universe. I mean, would Gravity have been so nerve-wracking if Sandra Bullock was just lost in the Denver airport? It's one of the few examples where darkness is not used to hide information, but rather show that there is no other information to hide. Over half of horror climaxes happen at night, or in the dark, and one of the most monumental climaxes set in pure darkness is the one I had with your mom. Nah, just joking. It's the end of Silence of the Lambs. This was such an effective scene, it went on to inspire a popular handheld first-person shooter POV horror genre known as found footage. Films like Wreck, The Descent, Cloverfield, and Paranormal Activity. It works a lot like an extension of our daily media intake. You know, 24-hour R-rated news, videos of hostages being beheaded one click away in your news feed. When nothing is taboo, violence is passé, where will we get our kicks? Will our bloodlust get stronger? Will we need something harder? Nah. No matter how we evolve as a society, no matter how advanced we get, the same stuff that has always scared us will always scare us because it's built into our brains. But because it's a chemical reaction like everything else, that means it can be controlled and manipulated.
The future of fear.
According to National Geographic's The Memory Thief, in 1957, Dr. Ewen Cameron, a biological psychiatrist, was sought out by the CIA for his technique he called psychic driving. To give you an idea of this guy, he studied German scientists at the Nuremberg Trials and then used their practices in a military-sponsored mind control outfit in Canada and the US. Through a battery of electroshock, LSD, sleep deprivation, and amygdala injections, he thwarted natural responses to fear, essentially reprogramming soldier patients to the point where they would perform acts against their will without any memory of such acts. Devoid of fear. Universal soldiers, Manchurian candidates. This amygdala calcification process can easily be coagulated into tasteless, water-soluble drugs and dispersed into a drinking water supply on a mass level. Fear-inducing horror films will be difficult to make and the least of our concern when we are all fighting on the front as automatons in World War III. But that's just my 2 cents. If you made it this far, thanks for watching. Let us know what you want to talk about in the comments below. Feed us ideas. And don't forget to drink 8 glasses of water a day.